So that Global may bring you pre-Olympic hockey. News will follow the game.
Last night, the Canadian Olympic team proved the dream is real. Gord Shervin's goal 6 seconds into the second period gave Canada a 3-1 lead. And that would be the eventual winner as Canada celebrated a 3-2 victory over the Soviet Union. But the key to Canada's win was their defense. Goaltender Andy Moog had an exceptional game, stopping 27 shots and shutting out the Soviets in the last 35 minutes of the game to preserve a Canadian victory. Last May, Sweden shut out Canada 9-0 and won the World Hockey Championship. Tonight, Canada's Olympic team meets the reigning World Hockey champions, Sweden, live from Saskatoon on National Team Hockey.
Live from Saskatoon on the CanWest Hockey Network. It's National Team Hockey. Tonight, the Canadian Olympic team plays Sweden. Tonight's game is brought to you by Labatt's, proud sponsors of Canada's Olympic hockey team. And by Esso, suppliers of the winter no trouble gasoline.
We're live on the outskirts of Saskatoon for another sold-out game tonight. Sweden against Canada, National Team Hockey at Saskatchewan Place. Good evening, everyone. I'm Rick Borgon. We witnessed a good game last night between the Soviet Union and Canada. We expect much the same tonight. Let's go upstairs for their pregame comments. Dave Richardson and Joe Piscucci.
Thank you very much, Rick. You know, last night we saw Canada defeat the Soviet Union 3-2 in an exciting defensive hockey game. Now, how can defensive hockey be exciting? Well, that's the trend in international hockey these days.
Well, I think part of the reason would be the ice surface. And in 1987, when the Swedish team won the World Championship, they had the NHL Swedish players, good goal scorers. They had Håkan Loob and Gustafsson. They don't have that luxury when they go into the Olympics, so they've kind of built their team around Peter Lindmark, the star goaltender, and they've got a good, strong defense. They got 3 former NHLers playing on defense, so that's where they built their strength. They're going to be a defensive team and try to play for the opportunities.
And one of the players we want to key in tonight for Sweden is a defenseman.
Well, they have this young kid, Killstrom, that in '87 he couldn't make their Canada Cup team. They go and play in Izvestia this year, and he's voted the best defenseman in the Izvestia tournament, and he didn't have a single point. So you know he must be a pretty good hockey player.
And for Canada, we talked about it last night, goaltending their strong point, and the outstanding goaltender in the 1987 Izvestia Cup was Sean Burke, and he's the starter tonight.
Well, yeah, and Burke's a big boy. He's 6'3", he's 200 pounds. He plays the angles well. He stands up well. It's very interesting to know how the Swedish team said something. You know, they asked him who was the best team as Izvestia. He says, well, Canada played very, very well as a team, and then they have Burke. So that tells you something right there.
All right, the fourth member of our broadcast team is Ron Rimmer. He has a report on the ice conditions here at Saskatchewan Place.
No question, Saskatchewan Place, a beautiful facility, and Bo, we don't want to get negative, but there were a few problems with the ice. The players were telling me towards the end of the period it got a little soft and chips were coming out of it. What was the problem?
We're having a little trouble controlling our heating system, and all the heat was concentrated down on the lower level, and plus with all the people in here, it really made it hot in there for the boys on the ice.
All right, but you tell me things are super for tonight.
Yes, they're going to be great.
A lot better?
A lot better, a lot better. Everything will go good.
All right, shapes up to be a great game here at Saskatchewan Place. Back to Rick in the studio.
Coming up in the first period, an interview with Sam Pollock. Also a feature on the Hounds of Notre Dame. Plus Dave and Joe will be around with the first period highlights. Then in the second, we'll talk with Herb Pinder and a feature on Mark Hamscheid. Once again, the experts, Dave and Joe, will have the period highlights. Coming up, the opening face-off between Canada and Sweden.
Team
Team Chrysler is driving to be the best in value with $750 cash back on new 88s and remaining 87s direct from Chrysler. Dodge Lancers, new LeBaron Coupes and GTS, and more. $500 on Canada K, already priced $1,000 less than 86. Ram Tough Dodge trucks, including midsize Dakota and Dodge Ram Charger, plus discounts up to $1,100 on option packages. For value, choice, and warranty protection, see your Team Chrysler dealer now.
In all the frozen and faraway places, at all the lonely hours, day or night, there's a Tony Thompson, striving to push a black puck on white ice toward the goal. Esso retailers are involved in hockey from beginners to Olympians, for all the Tonys and Michaels and Lindas. Because service to the community doesn't stop at the gas pump.
In Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, February is the coldest month of the year. In Calgary, the temperatures may not be much higher. But for Viv and Gord Yawney, seeing their son represent his country is a pretty warming thought. That's why this February 11th, Labatt's is sending the Yawneys and the parents of the other Canadian Olympic athletes to Calgary to see their sons and daughters make them and their country proud.
Canada and the Soviet Union, Canada and Sweden. The game will start in just a few minutes' time. Some pre-game festivities. Let's go down to our Master of Ceremonies.
Canada, the Royal Bank of Canada, and Sport Canada. Introducing the starting lineup for the Swedish Olympic team. Number 35, the goaltender, Peter Oslin. On defense, number 2, Anders Eldebrink. Also on defense is number 7, Tommy Samuelsson. Forwards, number 9, Thomas Rundqvist. Number 22, Håkan Sudegren. And 23, Peter Eriksson. The head coach of the Swedish Olympic team is Tommy Sandlin, assisted by Kurt Lindstrom. They're on the bench. And now the starting lineup for Canada's Olympic hockey team. In goal, number 1, from Toronto, Ontario, Sean Burke. On defense, number 21 from Edmonton, Alberta, Randy Gregg. Also on defense, wearing number 25 from Leduc, Alberta, Zarli Zalatsky. The forwards from Port Coquitlam, BC, number 11, Steve Tambellini. From Charlesbourg, Quebec, number 18, Claude Vilgrain. And from Nepal, Manitoba, number 19 is Vaughn Carper. The general manager and head coach for Canada's Olympic hockey team is Saskatoon's Dave King. The assistant coaches, Guy Charon and Tom Watt. Esso retailers and agents are proud to sponsor Esso Medals of Achievement in recognition of effort, teamwork, and fair play, values that contribute to the growth of young hockey players on and off the ice. Awards for most sportsmanlike player, most improved player, and most valuable player support the notion that win or lose, what counts is how you play the game. Every team associated with the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association can participate, and every player is eligible for an award. Representing the Esso Medals of Achievement program tonight is Darcy Blaka. Darcy is 12 years old and plays in the Adam division of the Saskatoon Minor Hockey Association, where he was a recipient of the Esso Medal of Achievement Most Sportsmanlike Player for his team last year. Darcy is accompanied tonight by Rob Ritchie of Esso Petroleum Canada. We would now like to ask the team captains of the Swedish and Canadian Olympic teams to come to center ice to participate in the official opening face-off to be performed by Darcy Blocka. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the Swedish national anthem performed by Henri Lavazelle, and the Canadian national anthem is performed by the Saskatoon Boys Choir.
A jam-packed crowd here at Saskatchewan Place. Last night, capacity crowd 9,399. They may even have a few more in tonight. The referee for tonight's game, Kevin Minch. And even when he's out of uniform, he still has the stripes. And the linesmen for tonight from Saskatoon, Tim Korchinski and Kevin Blosky. All from the Saskatchewan Amateur Hockey Association.
The goaltender for Canada, 21-year-old Sean Burke. What an impressive goals against average he has. 2.83. He has the only shutout for the national team this season. Look for big things from him tonight. On the other end, 5'10", only 165 pounds, Peter Heslin. And it looks to me like Östlund will only play half of the game, and then he will give way to Anders Bergman for the second half. But the real man behind the Swedish goaltending is not playing tonight, and that is Peter Lindmark.
And let's go down to a report from Ron Rimmer.
Both clubs allowed to dress 21 players for tonight's contest, 19 skaters and a couple of goaltenders. For the Swedes, their chops tonight will be goaltender Peter Lindqvist. They want to get a look at their other netminders in tonight's contest. And forward Jonas Bergqvist. He has a sore throat, is back at the hotel. For the Canadians, Trent Yanni will not suit up for tonight's contest. He, of all things, twisted his knee in practice yesterday, but he should be okay soon. Now, let's go back upstairs.
Thank you very much, Ron. You know, and that injury to Trent Yanni is of great concern to Olympic coach Dave King. Trent Yanni is one of the players he is counting on along that blue line.
And they had a real scare, actually, last night when Tony Stiles took a pretty good body check. He did not play the second or the last half of the second period, and all of the third period. He suffered what they said was a kind of a mild concussion. That's why we saw so much of Tim Waters and Randy Gregg last night. They were down to 5 defensemen.
Last night, Andy Moog was the star for Canada. Tonight, it could well be Sean Burke. And, you know, it's interesting, the Swedish head coach Tommy Sandlin deciding not to play his #1 goaltender. As you look at Sandlin, Peter Lindmark. Why do you think he didn't play Lindmark tonight?
Well, I think psychologically he doesn't want to lose to this team. They've played them one other time in the Izvestia tournament. They lost 3-2. Lindmark was the goaltender at that time, and the goaltender for Canada beat him. Now they're going to play him in the first round, the last game of the first round. So psychologically, I think he wants his big man to be sitting in the wings for him.
And there you see the starting goaltender Peter Östlund and Canadian Olympic hockey coach Dave King coming home. He's passed to Knights, to Saskatoon, his stomping grounds.
Well, getting the honor last night from the mayor of Saskatoon, and this afternoon he was at the University of Saskatchewan, where he was accorded another honor, he and Father David Bauer. They're having a few problems with the ice once again. They're just trying to get it set up, but we had a nice conversation with Dave King this morning. He is quite upset, Joe, about the starting times of his games in the first round of the tournament. He plays one game at 6:15. All the other games are played at 2 in the afternoon. He says all because of ABC.
Well, and he also said, I guess when you paid $309 million for the television rights, you have a few says about what happens. But we'll get into that a little more. The game is about to begin. Canada and Sweden here live from Saskatchewan Place in Saskatoon. Eldebrink with the puck, ahead to Rundqvist, and Canada takes over. Zalapski, his pass was blocked. Now Karpin at center. Von Karpin back to Tambellini. Tambellini on loan to the Olympic team from the Vancouver Canucks. Samuelsson into the corner for Sweden. Sweden, of course, the defending World Hockey Champions. Rundqvist with Eriksson. There's the shot, and Burke makes the blocker save. Now the Canadians start off. Tambellini ahead to Claude Vilgrain. Over to Bobby Joyce. Joyce with the shot, and it's well off the mark. Tim Waters now with the puck for Canada. Waters named the outstanding defensive player in last night's game against the Soviets. Peterson ahead to Anderson, and Anderson just fires it into the Canadian zone. Ken Yaremchuk back of the net to Serge Roy. Roy ahead to Joyce. Loose puck in the neutral zone, and it's offside at the Canadian blue line.
Pretty good skating pace by both teams. I do not think that we will see the body checking that we saw last night, Joe. I don't think there's that I don't want to say hatred for each team, but I want to say that they don't dislike each other as much. If we look at Bob Joyce, I don't think Bobby has been plagued by. His game is the Boston-style game, who he was drafted by. Along the boards, he's got to show a little more effective checking. He's got to be a little stronger. He's only 21 years old, but that's his game, and he's got to play it that way.
Tim Waters for Canada, back to Serge Roy. Ahead to Ken Yaremchuk. Yaremchuk with one of the 3 Canadian goals last night in that 3-2 win over the Soviets. And Sean Burke covers up on the puck and will have a face-off to his right. Sean Burke, a second-round draft pick of the New Jersey Devils. Some say he is going to be a franchise player, an impact player, once the Olympics end and he's in the National Hockey League.
Well, I'm not all that sure that he is going to be that quick to sign. I'm sure that the New Jersey Devils are waiting for him. I think that he is an intelligent young man. He's only 21 years old. Perhaps he might stay in this Olympic program. It would take an awful lot of money to move him.
Chris Felix for Canada, back of the goals, leads the rush. Ahead to Mark Hapshai. Hapshai just flips it into the Sweden zone. Shervin after it. Now Ken Berry loses the puck. Loose puck in front. Shervin to Berry. Shervin the shot. And he just misses high on the glove side. Hapshai tries to get the puck back in the net to Berry. Berry with it in the corner. Now Gord Shervin, number 10. Back to Berry. And the Swedes take over. Long lead pass for Bo Berglund. Berglund, number 20. And the puck goes to Sean Burke, and he'll hold it there for another face-off. From Saskatchewan Place, this is National Team Hockey.
There's heart in this land. It's there in all we do. That's why hands across this country reach for the blue. And when we get together, it's a taste that's clean and true. So when you call, then you call for the blue. You know it's gotta be blue. That's why you call for the blue. That's why you call for your blue. It's time to call for the blue.
We're scoreless here in the first period. Sweden and Canada on the CanWest Hockey Network. Winter Olympics in Calgary just days away. This is the final exhibition game for both these teams. Wally Schreiber for Canada. Lead pass for Randy Gregg, and this will be icing, but Osleen has to come out of the net to play the puck. Now Zalapsky, first-round draft pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins with the puck. Zarley's pass goes off the skate of Brian Bradley, and Zalapsky has to go back for it. Randy Gregg, lead pass for Serge Boisvert, and this will be icing as Anders Eldebrink goes back to touch the puck.
The veteran Randy Gregg playing back on the blue line with Zalapsky, just unable to look for a clear shot, a clear man to break into the freedom that time. Both teams, I think, just feeling each other out, a little tentative as to what they want to do. They both had shots at goal, but from well out, Joe, and we're used to watching the Canadian team hold the puck and play and keep possession of it.
You see Claude Vilgrain, he was signed as a free agent by the Vancouver Canucks.
I said to Tom Watt, I says, can Vilgrain play in the National Hockey League the way he played last night? He says, that was one of his best games last night. He kind of gets himself up for the Russians. He doesn't always play that well. He was super last night.
Tambellini, Vilgrain, and Don McLaren, the forward line for Canada. Tim Waters with the puck to Serge Waugh. McLaren along the near boards to Tambellini. Now Serge Waugh will fire it in. And Sweden will have to go back for the puck. Osleen plays it off the glass, but not out. McLaren to Vilgrain. Back to the point, and Serge Waugh can't keep it in at the blue line. McLaren fires it back into the Swedish zone.
I like the way the Swedish defense are standing up and taking them out of the play. They have forced the Canadian team to shoot the puck in from the blue line 3 or 4 times already.
McLaren back to the net to Claude Vilgrain. Swedes under pressure there, and the shot there by Södergren onto his own goal. Swedes trying to clear the zone. Peter Eriksson back of the net to Thomas Eriksson. And it's fired down the ice, and this will be icing as Tony Stiles goes back to touch the puck.
He did the smart thing. They were out there for about 1 minute and 25 seconds. They sensed that they were out there too long. Rather than cause any problems, they just got off the ice. If we look at the hardest hitting defenseman on the national team, Tony Stiles, he and Svetlov crashed in front of that bench yesterday, and it was amazing that Svetlov was able to get off. He also had a couple of good hits. As the Soviets were coming out of their end, he was meeting them right at their own blue line. He was pinching, and it caused him in the long run because he missed that third period.
Shot from the point by Felix, gloved by Osleen. There's a loose puck, and the Swedes cleared. Long lead pass for Peterson. His shot, and Burke makes the easy pad save. Big hit by Styles back of that Canadian goal, and Felix has the puck for Canada. Felix ahead to Yaremchuk. Mats Killstrom, we talked about him in the opening. He passes it ahead to Mikael Anderson. Now Burke will leave it there for Tony Styles. Around the boards. Kept in by Sweden. Peterson shot. Glove save! And Sean Burke grabs that loose puck.
Well, it would appear that the Swedish players know something about Sean Burke. They're shooting the puck from well out. As we look at the replay, he starts just inside the blue line. By the time he gets in there, he gets a great shot at Burke. Now, Burke is going to be right back. Watch how he gets forced back into the net here by the Swedish player. He's not as much out to the crease as he should be, and he doesn't get a great opportunity to see the puck. He just catches it at the last moment. Great reflexes for the youngster.
Dave, we haven't seen too much of the line of Barry, Hapscheid, and Shervin. Dave King wants to play that line against the top Swedish line, and so far Tommy Sandlin doesn't want to put that line out there.
Well, as I say, this is not as an intense game as it was last night, so they're not going to show each other everything.
Puck back of the Canadian goal. Erling in the corner. Bradley takes a hit. Kept in by Samuelson. Now Erling to Berglund. Galapski in the corner looking for a face-off.
You watch how number 7 Samuelson is pinched right in front of the net, almost like they're using 4 forwards.
Bradley along the boards now as Canada feeling the pressure from Sweden. Galapski again tries for a face-off, but unsuccessful. Johansson and Wally Schreiber backhands it out as Serge Boisvert gives chase. Both teams making changes. Tim Waters ahead to Mark Hapscheid. Hapscheid on the fly, and he was checked at that blue line. And Tim Waters fires it in, and it's offside. With the score, Canada 0, Sweden 0. This is the Can West Hockey Network.
You're cold. You're getting warmer. Warmer. And warmer. Now you're hot. Really hot. You've got it. A hot deal on a hot meal. A 9-piece thrift box of hot Kentucky Fried Chicken, medium fries, and a loaf of hot buttered bread for only $9.39 till January 31st. Get it while it's hot.
Play is underway here in the first period. 13:55 remaining in a scoreless first period between Canada and Sweden. Peter Anderson back of the net to Lars Carlson. Lars Molin, the ex-Vancouver Canuck, tried to get it out, but good. Mark Hapscheid now. Hapscheid back to Serge Watt at the point. There's the shot, and Oslin makes the stick save. Tim Waters keeps the puck in at the point. Carlson ahead to Ulf Sandstrom, and the puck is cleared out. Ken Berry kicks it ahead, and Oslin will leave it there for Carlson. Lars Carlson takes the hit from Berry. Now Tambellini in the corner with the puck to Vilgrain. Vilgrain loses it in the face-off circle, and Sweden start out. Lars Molin leads the rush. Across to Michael Yellman, and Molin in front just misses the pass. Sandstrom back to Killstrom. Mats Killstrom with the pass to Thomas Rundqvist. He was checked off the puck by Vilgrain. Rundqvist ahead. There's a shot that's off the mark. Peter Eriksson with the puck. Now with it is Håkan Södergren. There's a shot that was blocked. The second shot went wide. Carpet checked along the boards, and we'll have a face-off.
I like the way the Swedish team are playing right now. They're getting the support that Dave King's team was doing last night. They were one-on-one. If the first guy was in there taking the man and he was not successful, then the second man was doing it. Right now, the Swedish forwards are checking with a little more intensity than what Canada is. The best scoring chances they had is when they had Habscheid's line out there. Because of the speed, they were able to turn it around. But the Swedes are keeping them penned in pretty good.
We saw a look at Swedish defenseman number 27, Thomas Eriksson, of course, who had NHL experience for 5 seasons with Philadelphia. Puck is cleared out, and Eriksson will go back for it. No icing on the play. Eriksson with the pass to Södergren. Now with it is Killström. Ahead to Rundqvist. Rundqvist in the corner. Tries to get it back to the point. And it's knocked out by Merlin Malinowski. Felix ahead to Merlin Malinowski. Across the Swedish blue line. Fires it back in the net. Jurenchuk with the puck. To Malinowski. Back to Joyce. Joyce looking for Zalapski at the point. That shot was blocked and the Swedes come back. Eklund across the Canadian blue line looking for support. Finds Anderson. And Canada takes over. Brian Bradley. To Zarley Zalapski. He has Wally Schreiber with him. Zalapski just fires it to the corner. Kept in by Boisvert to Bradley. Bradley to Boisvert. And he was checked at the last minute.
Nice job by the Swedish defensemen. Both had great position in front of the net. Canada wasn't able to find an open man. They were all covered.
Puck is fired down the ice. Randy Gregg with it. Ahead to Zalapski. Canada catching the Swedes on a line change here. Zalapski. Back to Schreiber, and that one was just tipped away at the last moment. Game starting to open up here in the first period. Nearing the 10-minute mark. Scoreless between Canada and Sweden. We are live from Saskatchewan Place in Saskatoon. You're with the CanWest Hockey Network. Serge Watt taken hard into the boards, and it knocked the bench open at the Canadian side. Barry checked at center.
Did you see 19 come up and make the charge on Barry? That's the way you got to play him.
Long lead pass for Johansson. Into the corner to Erling. Erling takes out Waugh back of the net. Bo Berglund tries to pick up the loose puck, but Canada will fire it out. Tim Waters, Winnipeg Jets defenseman, one of the NHL pickups by this Canadian Olympic team. Here come the Swedes. There's a shot. Burke with the pad save, and the rebound was cleared away. And we have a delayed penalty coming up against Sweden. You're watching National Team Hockey from Saskatchewan Place.
There is much to admire about European touring sedans. The sophisticated styling, their agility and precise handling. It is in that spirit that we offer this car. But we've added a few unorthodox notions like real comfort and a 7-year, 115,000-kilometer protection plan. Introducing the 1988 Eagle Premier. Properly named because Premier is a first. A Canadian-built car with European sophistication and handling.
If you're sitting at home and watching, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about pinching in on the play. Watch the aggressive play here by Thomas Eriksson. He's a veteran. He's played in the National Hockey League. He just takes the forward off the puck, keeps the puck into the zone. As we look at Mikael Yelin, he gets a tripping penalty, didn't he? A power play. Tambellini will go on the blue line. Chris Felix will be the other blue liner.
Steve Tambellini from the Vancouver Canucks, a power play specialist, and he's on the point. Claude Bilgrain back of the net for Canada. Canadian player hauled down. That was Malinowski. Back to the point to Tambellini. Tambellini with the shot, and the bad save made by Östling. Tambellini did a good job there of waiting for that screen to be set up in front. Back to Tambellini. The Swedes very aggressive here. There's a shot by Felix that was deflected by Malinowski. That's Merlin Malinowski, the former Colorado Rocky, New Jersey Devil, Hartford Whaler. Playing in Switzerland the last 5 years. Tambellini's shot, hot save, rebound is cleared away, but not out. Good pressure by Canada. Now Mark Hapshide with it. Hapshide tried to get that pass to Felix, who was moving into the slot area, and Malinowski's shot deflected and goes wide. And Eriksson takes over.
The Swedish team don't mind giving Canada that shot from the blue line. If Tambellini can see it right out there, as long as his sleeve can see that first shot, fine, he doesn't mind it.
40 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Yellman as Canada makes changes to its power play alignment. Tim Waters out there now with the puck, number 2. Of course, with the Jets, he wears number 7. Waters leads the rush. Will fire it in, and after it goes Wally Schreiber. Kept in at the point by Serge Waugh. Waugh to Brian Bradley, moves into the face-off circle. Bradley to Schreiber. Waters the shot. Bradley just missed deflecting it. Good passing by Canada. Boisvert. Bradley. He was checked. Schreiber. Shot goes wide. And the Swedes back at full strength. Kept in by Boisvert. He was taken down. And it's fired down the ice, and this will be icing as Serge Waugh goes back to touch the puck.
Couple of good scoring opportunities for the Canadians that time as we look at Serge Waugh, the best slap shooter on the team.
A new instructional hockey video has been launched by the International Hockey Center of Excellence. This video, entitled Goals, features Dave King and Team Canada and links technical skills with thinking skills, and it can be purchased through the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association office in Ottawa or by calling 403-261-0460.
Oh, Canada, let's watch them on the power play. They're flooding the side. They want to get that one man in the middle. They're getting him there, but they're not getting the rebound. The Swedish defense are holding their position, and they're making sure that after the first puck is shot, they get out of the way.
7:15 remaining here in the scoreless first period. Von Karpen, the pass to Zalapsky, who collided with the referee, then fell down. Now McLaren trying to get it out, but can't. Moline, the shot, and the save made by Sean Burke. Big save there by Sean Burke, who won the one-on-one battle with Thomas Eklund. Here come the Swedes again. There's a shot. That's off the mark. Peter Anderson letting that low drive go. Eklund at center ice. Loses the puck to Ken Yaremchuk. Peter Anderson to Eriksson. Across to Johansson. Johansson checked off the puck there by Felix. Kept in by Eriksson. Now Johansson. He's being checked there by Mark Hapshide. Erling in front, and that shot just off the mark as Stiles is doing a good job of checking on Bo Berglund. It's Canada and Sweden on the Can West Hockey Network.
If the Esso No Trouble gasoline now helps you get away from gas line freeze-up and in cold, damp weather, stalling and rough idling, why get caught without it?
Al, you become a goal scorer and you have to face Sean Burke. This is what it looks like. Canada is a little guilty of turning the puck over. There's Tom Eklund coming right in. Look at how he's ready in good position. His reflexes. As he makes the stop, he takes the puck and he just whacks it out of the air. Just a great play by the young goaltender, Sean Burke. Always ready. Great and high eye coordination as he looks at the puck all the time.
Hapshide into the face-off circle for Canada, number 14. Lars Moline for Sweden. Hapshide wins the draw. And that's something Canada did very well last night against the Soviet Union in the face-off circle. They were winning the majority of the draws. There's the turnover and the save made by Burke on Moline. think, Dave, we've seen more turnovers by Canada in the defensive end in this first period than we saw all of last night.
Part of the reason is that the Swedish forwards are tying up the wingers. They don't have anybody to pass the puck to.
Gord Shervin now for Canada. Nice move at the blue line. Shervin with the puck. Maintains his balance, but couldn't control the puck. Tim Waters at center flips it right back to Mark Hapshide. Ahead to Bobby Joyce. Joyce shot! And a save made by Usleen. Washut. Rebound. Score! Gord Shervin. The light has come on, but is it a goal?
I don't think they're going to count the goal. The light did not go on. The Canadian players are behind the net. Now let's have a look. This is first is a scoring attempt by Bobby Joyce. It'll just go wide as Asselin comes out, and he makes a pretty good chance at it. Now the puck will come back again. Watch Shervin come in on the play. The puck goes in under the net and bounces right back out. So they will cut it. Now we'll get a better view from the on-top camera. That's the scoring opportunity by Joyce. Now watch Shervin come into the play. Right there, and he bangs it in. The goaltender is actually sitting behind the goal line, and perhaps that is why the goal judge did not see the goal.
Well, the goal judge was a little late in putting the light on, but he did eventually put the light on, and it was his persuasion that Kevin Minch, the referee, decided that he was going to allow that goal, which was, by, of course, our replay, was a legitimate goal. 14:55, the time of the goal by Gord Shervin. Well, they said it's Hapshide. I thought it was Shervin.
So did I. They were both buzzing around there pretty good. But Hapshide, who is the team scoring leader, that will give him 54 points on the season. He got an assist last night on that game-winning goal by Gord Shervin, and now he puts Canada up 1-0. That was an odd combination because Hapshide hadn't been out there with Joyce all night.
So it's 1-0 for Canada over Sweden. 4:50 remaining here in the opening period. Long lead pass. It'll be icing as Zalapsky goes back to touch it. With the score, Canada 1 and Sweden 0. This is National Team Hockey from Saskatoon.
Which bank, trust, or insurance company do more Canadians choose for their RSP? Canada Trust, #1 in RSPs because we've earned it. With great rates and interest from day of deposit. Instant RSP loans and instant tax receipts. Wide investment choice, including our new T-bill certificates. And convenience. We're open Saturdays and 8 to 8, Monday to Friday. Canada Trust, #1 in RSPs because we've earned it.
Let's have another look at the goal by Canada, Mark Hapshide. Right here, you'll see Bobby Joyce get taken out of the play. The defenseman moves in quickly. Well, it's Shervin that puts the puck in the net from there. Hapshide is going around, unless he come around and touched it. But the key to that was the Canadian defenseman pinching right in and keeping the puck in, because #7, the defenseman for Sweden, took Bobby Joyce. He allowed that Canadian defenseman to push in. But I was pretty sure that was Shervin, who was playing on the right side, that put the puck in the net.
Well, we'll give the goal to Gord Shervin. They may change it later, but we'll give it to him. Here comes Sweden, led by Peter Eriksson. He was checked at center by Bobby Joyce.
That's what strong goaltending can do for you. The Swedes had the best scoring opportunities. They've got no goal right yet, and they go down and they score on their best opportunity. That's what a strong goaltender can do for you.
And the Swedes having all sorts of problems right now. Canada applying some good forechecking. Merlin Malinowski ahead to Yaremchuk. And now Eriksson with the puck for Sweden. Eriksson across the blue line, working against Zalapsky, and Zalapsky takes him out of the play. And hard. And now Randy Gregg doing a good job back of that net.
Well, temper's starting to flare just a wee bit right now. A goal will do that for you. They've got to be a little bit frustrated on that Swedish bench because they've got in there. They had the breakaway. Eklund misses on the breakaway. They have a couple of good scoring opportunities. Sean Burke comes up big. And the first real big chance that they have with an open net bang, they go in.
Taking a look at Tom Eklund for Sweden, number 4. He played in the '84 Olympics for Sweden when they won the bronze medal.
He's 29 years of age, so, you know, when you look at their blue line, they average 26.5, I think. They're big guys. They've got 3 of them over 6 foot. The others are 5'11". So they maybe don't have that mobility, but they've got the size and the experience.
Anderson, Peterson, and Eklund out there for Sweden. McLaren, Tambellini, and Vilgrain for Canada. Puck ahead to Vilgrain. Serge Waugh moving in. Waugh along the near boards, out in front, and Osleen will clear it to the corner. Now Waters plays it back of the net to Tambellini. Man in front, but Tambellini can't get him the puck. Mats Killstrom. Back to Peterson. And it's fired back in offside by Serge Waugh. Let's go down to Ron Rimmer.
Saskatchewan Place is certainly a special place to be, and one of the nicer features about it is, quite simply, there isn't a bad seat in the house. Here we are about 37 rows up, and what does the game look like from here?
Not too bad, actually. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It's you can see the players, and it's actually really good.
I thought this was where the place where the rowdy people sat. You guys are kind of quiet up here.
Oh, that's up to everybody. Hey, it's not just to me.
All right, let's go to the guys with the best seat in the house.
Thank you very much, Ron. You know, Dave, television will do that to you sometimes. Of course, we like to think the people at home watching along the Can West Hockey Network have the best seat in the house. And, of course, here everybody thinks Habscheid scored the goal, but everybody at home knows better. 3:20 remaining here in the opening period. Canada leading Sweden 1-0. Tim Waters back in the net to Serge Waugh. And that's been a really good defensive pairing for Olympic coach Dave King of Waters and Waugh. Anders Eldebrink going back into his own zone for Sweden. Waters waiting for Boisvert to get back on side. Boisvert trying to fire it in and fires it over the glass. And we'll have a face-off outside the Swedish blue line.
Solid play that time by Timmy Waters as he and Boisvert kind of kept the puck into the zone. They were able to just bounce up. Boisvert is the acting captain tonight. Last year, Ken Berry was the captain of the hockey team, and I think Dave King right now has been rotating the captaincy. I guess they're all quality players, and he doesn't want to give it to one individual. I'm not sure what he'll do come the Olympic Games.
Peter Anderson now with the puck for Sweden. Anderson with the long shot, and Burke makes the glove save. And Burke, a la Ron Hextall, can clear the puck out.
Now, he's got all the tools. He handles the puck very well. And I think one of the big things about Sean Burke is he's a very confident young man.
Here comes Sweden. With the puck now is Ulf Sandstrom. He was checked. Collision at the blue line as 3 Canadian players went for a spill. Lars Molin. Mark Habscheid now. Habscheid just fires it back in. Swedish coach Tommy Sandlin doesn't want his top line of Sandstrom, Molin, and Yellman out there when the Habscheid line is out there. And he quickly made a line change. And it's offside at the Canadian blue line. From Saskatchewan Place, you're watching National Team Hockey on the Can West Hockey Network.
When you're looking for proof about batteries that are really going to last, this is the sound to listen for. When you wonder who's giving you the facts about battery life, remember who you've always been able to depend on for long-lasting batteries. Then you'll know the difference between a lot of noise and the sound you can always trust. Duracell. Still, the one that lasts.
Welcome back to Saskatchewan Place. 1:48 remaining to play here in the first period as Canada has just iced the puck.
Well, the Canadians, after scoring the first goal, have kind of sat back and not been as aggressive in the last 3 or 4 minutes. And we look at number 5, Mats Killstrom, who we featured in our opening of the show. The best defenseman, as we mentioned. You know, besides the fact that he's 24 years old and he's played in the World Championships 85, 86, 87, he's the youngest defenseman that they have, and he's 24. So you've known where the Swedes have put their strength.
but he was not a member of the Canada Cup team, and maybe the Swedish coaching staff made a mistake in dropping Kihlstrom from their lineup. Of course, Tommy Sandlin didn't want to say so this morning after practice. Hatchai doing a good job of getting that puck out of the Canadian zone. Randy Gregg ahead to Hatchai, back to Gregg. Zalapski to Gord Shervin. Shervin across the Swedish blue line. Gordy Shervin back to Barry, but he was too well checked by Eriksson. Now 2-on-2. Eklund. Check that Rundqvist with the puck. Rundqvist. Waters takes him out of the play effectively, and here comes Canada. 3-on-2. Less than a minute remaining in the first. Gord Shervin to Barry. Backhand shot, and the save made by Utley. Now Rundqvist turns at the blue line, and Sweden fires it in. Bobby Joyce off the boards, ahead to Merlin Malinowski. He's got Ken Yaremchuk with him. Malinowski to Yaremchuk, and he just couldn't get to the pass as it was on his backhand side. 24 seconds remaining here in the first period. Canada leading 1-0. Good job there by Yaremchuk and Joyce, and we're going to have a high-sticking penalty coming up to Yaremchuk. No question about that one.
No, he got pretty vicious as he gave him a two-hander right there. Yaremchuk telling the official that, didn't you see the man grabbing me? As they go into the corner, they get pretty tangled up. Yaremchuk turns around and kind of high sticks him. Not a good time to take a penalty. You know what happened last night in the last part of the hockey game? Right there, you can see the two-handers. He catches him. Anders Hellebrandt says, I've been playing in Vancouver. I played in Quebec in the National Hockey League. I left the league because I didn't want this kind of activity. He comes in and plays his second international match this year in North America. Bang, and he gets one in the face.
16 seconds remaining in the first period as the puck is fired off into the crowd.
I think the success of the game last night was the penalty killing of Canada. They did not allow a power play goal. They scored a power play goal. It turns out that's why they won the game, because of one goal. When we look at the Swedish power play, it's very similar to the Canadian one. They'll overload one side. They'll try to get the puck to the man in the middle. They have excellent men on the blue line that shoot the puck. They can really shoot the puck from the blue line.
Serge Boisvert and Tony Stiles having a conversation as the linesman ready to drop the puck. Boisvert wins the draw and fires it down. Elderbrink back of the net. Long lead pass, and it's offside as the first period has come to an end. Canada leading Sweden 1-0 after 20 minutes.
I think a pretty good hockey period, Joe. I think that they have to be concerned that they're letting a couple of close shots in on Sean Burke. I think eventually that they're going to get in and they're going to score if they give them those close opportunities.
Let's go downstairs to Ron Rimmon.
This, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is a huge game for Team Canada. The obvious reason, it's their final test before the real stuff, the Olympic Games, begin. It's also a very big game for Dave King, the coach and general manager of Team Canada. They still have 24 men on their roster. They have to be down to 23 before the games begin. He says he'll probably make his decision right after tonight's game. Rick?
All right, coming up in our first intermission tonight, we'll have the chance to speak with Sam Pollock, also a feature on the Notre Dame Hounds. That's all to come when our hockey coverage continues in just a moment.
It is a true renaissance. Angles yielding to curves. New ideas formed and perfected into movement. Introducing the new Toyota Corolla. Redesigned and reborn. Respecting your insistence on economy while understanding your desire for luxury. The 1988 Toyota Corolla. Once you experience it, there is no turning back.
Notice anything special about these skiers? They're amputees, members of the War Amps Child Amputee Program. Hi, I'm Carl Hilsinger. Used to play pro football till I lost both legs in a car accident. I coached the champs at a War Amps ski clinic at Nakiska, site of the '88 Winter Olympics. Meet Chris Cook, missing both arms and legs. Young amputees get special equipment and a chance to ski. Their dreams come true through your support of the War Amps.
Boy, terrific!
Pretty good first period of hockey here at Saskatchewan Place in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We're in the first intermission, of course. Guesting with me now, Sam Pollock, the chairman of Hockey Canada's International Committee. A long title, Sam. Could you please explain what your duties are?
Well, Hockey Canada and the CAHA have an international committee of 9 members, and I'm chairman of that committee. We've been in existence since 1962, and we provide the background for the team, and we're very proud, of course, of what has been accomplished.
You were a remarkable general manager in the National Hockey League. Why did you decide to retire from the NHL and take up something like this?
Well, that's not quite the way it happened. We sold the team, of course, back in 1978. This is a volunteer job. Hockey Canada and the CHA are volunteers from coast to coast, so it's something that we're all proud to do, to throw back into the pot. But this isn't the job in the sense it is for the people who work for us.
You mentioned being proud. You have to be proud with the program and the way it's gone in the past few years. It's an excellent program.
Yes, well, as I said, we have a lot of dedicated people from coast to coast who've contributed this over many, many years. And you know, this is the culmination of it, the World Championships, the Olympics. That's the big shows internationally, and of course with the Olympic Games in Canada for the first time, the Winter Olympics, we're really looking forward to it.
One thing that's nice, Canada is definitely gaining respect internationally with its hockey.
Well, we've come a long way. There's no question about that. The fact that, for example, last night was our second straight win against the Soviets, that hasn't happened really in a long time in our history at this level, but we've had great success in the past few years with the Canada Cup, of course, with the World's Junior, in the Spengler Cup, Espestia, and Canada. Well, in fact, if any major tournament doesn't have Canada in, it isn't a major tournament, so that's how far we've come.
Sam, thank you for taking the time out and talking with us. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the game. Did you enjoy the first period?
Very much. I hope it stays that way.
Okay, thank you very much. Our intermissions will continue in just a moment. You're watching Hockey Can West Hockey Network.
For those who don't know, there's trouble. But for those who do know, there's no trouble. The Esso No Trouble gasoline now reduces gas line freeze-up, and in cold, damp weather, reduces stalling and rough idling.
Want to lift again, Mr. Bill?
Now you know.
Hold on tight.
Can you... Please, I need your help.
The time will come when the running must stop.
We'll be following you and watching you all the time.
When the threats become more than you can possibly bear.
Watch the man who just came in. The one in the trench coat.
You see, he's gonna walk right across the room, and he's gonna take out a pistol.
And the time comes to get even.
You see, I know what it's like. I've been there. I know what it's like to twist and turn one way, then the other. Then to get caught right in the middle.
The time comes to equalize.
And from this moment, you are under my protection. And from this moment, you are under my protection.
The Equalizer on Global, 9 p.m. Sundays.
Shots on goal in that opening period of play. Sweden 9 and Canada 7. It's 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. We have an excellent feature for you now, and it focuses in on Notre Dame, a place where hockey is taught well, and it goes side by side with education. More from Ron Rimmer.
Sick! That's a lame excuse! God damn it! This is Notre Dame!
Notre Dame College, located in the tiny Saskatchewan village of Wilcox, is more than just a hockey school, as most people believe. Oh, it has supplied the NHL with people like Wendell Clark and Gord Kluzak, and the Olympic team with the likes of Gordy Shervin and Bob Joyce. But it's also a place that builds character. Martin J. Kenny, the man who took over when the school's founder, Athol Murray, died, says the college is a special place to be.
But an awful lot of it has to do with the, as I said earlier, the synergism out here, the spirit that's at Notre Dame. And it's an indomitable spirit. We don't always win, but I can tell you there isn't a Notre Dame team that doesn't go off the ice or off the field thinking all they did was run out of time.
The countless hockey championships, the numerous basketball, soccer, and football titles aside, things were not always rosy at Notre Dame. As a matter of fact, when Athol Murray died, the school was so demoralized, it almost followed him. 12 years ago, Kenny took over, received a great deal of help from Notre Dame alumni, and now things are better than ever.
It was sort of like getting on board the Titanic after, as the captain after it struck the iceberg. But somehow or other, I felt it was the right thing for me to do and try and turn things around.
90% of the students who attend Notre Dame go on to university. That compares to a provincial average of just over 40%. The students come from as far away as Japan or as close as Mankota, Saskatchewan. Lou Nikwana came here because his father did. Nikwana says students can feel a good family atmosphere at the college.
It's a much better relationship than just a student-teacher relationship. They're like your friends. They can understand you, and they can tell when when you're slacking off. And then, maybe it's what you need is a good talking to or a good kick in the butt or something, but they're always there.
Former national team member Barry McKenzie is the principal, head of hockey operations, and junior coach. The college is often accused of bringing in the best hockey talent around through active recruiting. McKenzie tells us that's simply not true.
I would say, do very little of it because I think that the reputation has gone ahead of us, and the fact that when our students go back home and other families, other people see them, and when they talk highly of the school, that is really the biggest way that kids end up coming here in the following years.
Father Athol Murray passed away in December of 1975, but as people explained to me, his die-hard spirit lives on. No question, Notre Dame College, having just celebrated its 60th anniversary, will continue to put the Courtnells, Clarks, and Lehmans in the NHL, and guys like Rick Costi, Gordy Shervin, and Bobby Joyce on the Olympic team.
And our thanks to Ron Rimmer for that report. Highlights coming up shortly after we take this short break. You're watching the Can West Hockey Network.
Hi, this is Henry Shannon inviting you to stand by for the thrill of a lifetime. It's the biggest band spectacular in the world. The 1985 military musical pageant at Wembley Stadium. Here is an unforgettable and historic recording of the last of the world-famous Wembley military tattoos. This breathtaking recording faithfully captures the intensity of color, tradition, and music of the British Army's best military pageant. Where else could you thrill to the sound of 2,000 musicians playing on the field at one time? Also available in this exclusive television offer, an accurate video recording of the most spectacular Wembley military salute ever. The 1981 pageant, played before Princess Diana and Prince Charles, featuring the bands of the Royal Regiment of Canada, the 48th Highlanders of Canada, and the pipes and drums of the Toronto Scottish Regiment and the 48th Highlanders of Canada. Order either the 1985 military pageant on 2 stereo LPs or long play cassette, or the VHS or beta cassette of the 1981 musical pageant, and you'll receive this free bonus: the world's great marches, 14 popular marches played by the world-famous band of the Grenadier Guards. This This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own these historic performances on LP, cassette, or videotape. So stand by to order.
Use your credit card for fast delivery. In Toronto, call 445-5664. In North America, you can call toll-free at 1-800-387-8034. Or save COD charges. Send $39.95 for the video cassette or $19.95 for the LP or tape, plus $3 postage and handling to Wembley, Box 3083 Markham, L3R6G4. Order now and receive your free bonus album. Please specify VHS or Beta video cassette.
Pretty good first period in play as Canada leads Sweden by a score of 1-0. They gave credit to Mark Hapshot on that opening goal for Canada. It has now been changed to Gord Shervin. It is official. Shervin did get that goal. Let's go upstairs now for the first period highlights with Joe and Dave.
Thank you very much, Rick. You know, in that first period, Dave, it seemed like Sweden controlled most of the play, but Canada comes out of it with the lead.
Yeah, and this whole play starts in the goal that they do score. Mark Hapshot, who's going to lose the goal and lose the assist. He starts it on the right side of the goaltender. Goaltender's left on the right side of the boards. He's going to feed in a pass to Bobby Joyce right here. He gets the puck right there. Watch Joyce. He's going to take it and go to the net. A great play here by Samuelsson. He'll take him and stay with him. But in doing so, he gets caught out of position. Serge Roy moves right in on the play, makes the shot on O'Sleen, and as he's doing it, from the right wing, Gordy Shervin, who was playing back and kind of backing up to play. Here's Joyce coming in. Samuelsson stays him, talks him in. Now Serge Roy comes in, just arrests the puck at the net, and there's the backup man, the third man, the high man in the slot, who usually gets the gravy, the garbage. He comes in and he puts the puck in. Originally started with Mark Hapshot, though, because he made that nice little touch pass into Bobby Joyce.
Shots on goal in that first period, 9-7 for Sweden, and one of the reasons they haven't scored a goal is because of the play of Sean Burke.
When you look at Sean Burke here, he almost looks uncomfortable the way he's hunched over. But watch the Swedish defensemen. They're going to tie up the Canadian forwards as they come in right at the blue line right there. We're going to see a better shot of another England. In comes Tom Exland. He comes in, and there's Burke watching the puck all the way, moving laterally with it. He doesn't make a charge, but he's so big that he can block the net. There is the play right there where he stops McLaren from coming out of the zone, and the puck just falls right on his stick. And in Burke is there. He doesn't play and challenge quite as much as an Andy Moog does, but he's got the size where he can block so much more of the net, and that makes him very, very effective.
All right, Canada 1, Sweden nothing. Second period action coming right up on the Can West Hockey Network.
A new world's about to open up. A world of wealth, power, and pleasure. My brother's interested in you.
I don't think you should let me out of your sight, Frank. Got a feeling I might disappear and not come back.
No prophet is God. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows.
Sounds like there's going to be a shootout unless you can fall on it fast.
Global Television brings you the best, toughest, and most tension-filled crime show of the year, Monday.
Everything is choices, darling. Love, intrigue, hatred, and betrayal.
I work for you.
Wise Guy, 10 p.m. Monday.
Players are just returning to the ice here. Second period action just about to begin. Canada leading Sweden 1-0 in the final exhibition games for both these teams prior to the start of the Calgary Winter Olympics, which will start, of course, this Saturday. Well, we've got a moment. Let's take time to thank the stations across the Can West Hockey Network from coast to coast. But before that, let's tell you about this new instructional hockey video, which has been launched by the International Hockey Center of Excellence. The video, entitled Goals, features Dave King and Team Canada and links technical skills with the thinking skills. And it can be purchased for $34.95 through the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association office in Ottawa or by calling 403-261-0460. And now let's thank the stations coast to coast on the Can West Hockey Network. Let's start on the East Coast and work our way west with CJCH in Halifax and the Atlantic Satellite Network. the Global Television Network in Ontario, a station that's close to my heart, CKND in Winnipeg. Of course, STV Regina and STV Saskatoon in Saskatchewan. ITV Edmonton, CFAC Calgary and Lethbridge 2 and 7. CFTK in Terrace, British Columbia, and CKVU in Vancouver. Thank you for joining us here on the CanWest Hockey Network. You're watching Canada and Sweden.
Well, it's a great opportunity for Sweden to get back in this hockey game, being down 1 goal. They start off with a power play. They have 1:44 to go, and a penalty, Ken Yaremchuk. Kind of a needless penalty because he was a selfish penalty, if you want to call a high sticking. He takes it in the offensive zone. Really no reason to do it. The team is playing very, very well. You know, you've got to keep your stick down. You've got to be a little disciplined. Here's the Canadian team huddling around goaltender Sean Burke, getting ready to go out and kill this penalty. There's a good shot of the man that I guess, as far as Sandlin's concerned, is the #1 goaltender in the world or international hockey, Peter Lindmark. He more than likely will play all the games for Sweden. He played all 6 games in the Canada Cup in '87. He had 18 goals scored against them for a 3-goal average, and that's remarkable when you're playing against the quality of teams that were in the Canada Cup.
He's been with the Swedish national team since 1981, but interestingly enough, did not play in the '84 Winter Olympics because he wasn't playing in the Swedish elite division. He was playing in their first division, and they don't take players from the first division.
He was getting paid more to play in the second division.
Canada will be going for the gold starting on Sunday, and they play their first game against Poland. Canada starting the second period with a man in the penalty box, Ken Yaremchuk. And they quickly fire it down the ice. Östlin still in goal for Team Sweden. We do expect them to make a change to Bergman sometime in the second period. But of course, head coach Tommy Sandlin has the right to change his mind if he wants to. But that was his plan this morning.
Now they're just shooting the puck down, killing the penalty. Look for number 23, Peter Eriksson. He's only 22 years old, but he's 6'4", 212 pounds. He's the biggest player out on the ice right now. See if he stations himself in front of Sean Burke.
Rundqvist.
There he is.
Got the point. Has the puck now. Samuelsson in front of the net. Shot from the point. Scores! A bullet drive by Anders Eldebrink. And Dave, you set it up right. Samuelsson with the screen in front of Sean Burke.
No, Peter Eriksson. They all sound the same. 23, Peter Eriksson standing in front right there. But that's exactly what we talked about. We talked about don't give their blue liners a shot. They shoot the puck very, very well. Look at in front of the net. You see 23? Actually, the defenseman, Felix, pushes him right in front of Burke. The idea is keep your stick down, turn around, and try to turn him over to the side. But he's not able to do it. 212 pounds is an awful lot of man to move. But when Tom Watt was talking to us this morning about the power play, that's exactly what they're going to do. And they were very effective in doing it.
Well, we do have some Swedish fans in the crowd tonight. Obviously, he had to buy his tickets through a scalper. Here come the Swedes again across the blue line. Anderson plays it back of the net to Peterson out in front, and Bradley intercepts for Canada. 45 seconds, the time of that goal by Eldebrink. It was a power play marker.
Then you have to go back and reflect and say the penalty to Yaremchuk in the last few seconds of a period allowed the Swedes to go into their dressing room and say, hey, we've got a great opportunity to start this second period to get back in a hockey game, and they did just that.
Take a look at number 21, Lars Gunnar Peterson.
You got to make it in hockey with a name like Lars Gunnar Peterson.
Serge Waugh ahead to Brian Bradley. Bradley being checked there by Anderson. Loose puck comes to Serge Boisvert. Going back for it, number 21. That's Lars Gunnar Peterson. Schreiber falls down in center. Loose puck, and Sweden takes over. Peter Anderson shot. Save made by Burke, and the rebound shot high over the net by Eklund.
Well, we look at 19. You talked about him making the charge in the net. Peter Anderson is a defenseman, but he's moving up into the play. You can see in the screen 1, 2, 3 of the Swedes. 19 is a defenseman, but he attacks the net, and he comes right into the play. They do a little bit of crisscross, try to set up the pick. Now, the important part in that is that they were successful setting up the pick on their first goal, so they're going to continue to do so.
Take a look at Sean Burke. You know, this is a very important game in terms of setting up a future match in the Olympics at the end of the round robin. Of course, Canada and Sweden situated in Pool A, and they'll meet in the final game of that pool. And of course, 3 teams from each pool advance into the medal round, and the teams with which you advance, the points count. Another save there by Sean Burke as Sweden taking the game to Canada here in the early moments of the second period. There's a long shot by Felix, and a skate save made by Östlin. Johansson. Check there at the blue line. Nice move there by Erling on Felix. But Felix got back to cover up. Puck at the side of the goal. And Burke will fall on it for a face-off. From Saskatchewan Place, this is National Team Hockey.
In Hudson Bay, Saskatchewan, February is the coldest month of the year. In Calgary, the temperatures may not be much higher. But for Viv and Gord Yawney, seeing their son represent his country is a pretty warming thought. That's why this February 11th, Labatt's is sending the Yawneys and the parents of the other Canadian Olympic athletes to Calgary to see their sons and daughters make them and their country proud.
Sweden won, Canada won. 17:48 remaining here in the second period.
Everybody's enjoying themselves tonight, but you don't sense the excitement or the intensity here as the Soviets brought with them when they came here.
Exciting 3-2 win last night for Canada over the Soviets. Their second victory over the Soviet national team. Of course, their last one was at the Izvestia Cup tournament. Here comes Sweden again. Eldebrink. His shot was blocked there by Zalapsky, and Zalapsky lost his stick. Now Merlin Malinowski hits the referee with that clearing attempt. Puck along the far boards. Picked up by Sandstrom, and he was taken down the ice by Zalapsky. Now Randy Gregg plays it around the boards, kept in at the point by Eldebrink. Out in front and cleared away by Canada. Now Randy Gregg. Can't get it out. Bobby Joyce will try. Across to Zalapsky. Long lead pass. Yaremchuk there. Can't control it at center. Malinowski check. Rundqvist. Samuelson. Back to Rundqvist. Back to Samuelson. Samuelson. That looked like it was offside, and the save made there by Sean Burke on Peter Eriksson, but it looked offside at the blue line. Rundqvist in his own zone. Hapshide checking on him. Now Peter Eriksson. Across to Carlson. He'll leave it there for Peter Anderson.
Close checking by both teams. Neither one able to get a scoring opportunity.
This puck in the Soviet zone, or the Swedish zone ahead now. There's a shot made by Sean Burke on Sudegren. Brilliant skate save by Burke.
Well, Sudegren showed a real good burst of speed that time as he got a clearing puck and just went right from the blue line, and he almost gets a two-line pass. But watch the nice pass from the veteran defenseman that come right here. Just as he gets in the red line, he touches the puck. He'll come in, and he makes the proper shot. There's Burke. Watch the right leg. There it is right there. He makes a very, very good shot at the plate. The defenseman gets caught up there, Tim Waters, and the reason he gets caught like that is because it's such a fine pass from the defenseman. You know, we talked to Sharon after the game last night, and he had a big smile on his face when I mentioned, I thought Habshide's line outplayed the Russian line, Larionov's line. He said, we didn't try it, but I think they did.
Serge Boisvert tries to put it out in front. Boisvert again. Still fighting for that puck is Serge Boisvert. Now Schreiber into the corner. And it's fired out and down the ice, but it'll be no icing as it went off the stick of Tony Stiles. Burke looking to clear the puck, and does over the glass. With the score, Canada won, Sweden won. This is the Can West Hockey Network.
On
a quiet street in this pleasant suburban neighborhood, the Dickersons at number 21 have of late been waking up to new Swanson breakfasts, not just because each one is hot and wholesome, and not only because each one is a sensational way to begin the day. They've done so because of their paperboy. You see, Swanson breakfasts are ready in just 3 minutes, and that gives the Dickersons just enough time. New breakfast from Swanson, breakfasts that save the day.
Joe Pascucci, Dave Richardson, Rick Borgon, and Ron Rimmer here at Saskatchewan Place in Saskatoon, bringing you this national team hockey game between Canada and Sweden. Anders Eldebrink for Sweden and Gord Shervin for Canada, the goal scorers in this game. And right now in the second period, the Swedes taking the game to Canada. Shot from the point, save made there by Burke, as the blast from Eriksson was high to the stick side. Now Wally Schreiber leaves the puck there at the blue line, and the Swedes come back with it. Peterson into the corner, Anderson giving chase. Kept in by Eklund. Now Brian Bradley for Canada. Ahead to Serge Boisvert. Boisvert ahead to Bradley. Eldebrink along the boards with the puck and gets it out. Serge Boisvert. Checked along the near boards. McLaren fires it back in. Tambellini after it. Tambellini gets to the puck first. Steve Tambellini fires it back to the net. McLaren. Billgrain. Back to McLaren. And Eldebrink will take over for Sweden. Back to Tambellini. He leaves it there for McLaren, but Eldebrink broke up the play. Now Zalapski checked at center. Here comes Sweden with the 2-on-1. Berglund with the shot off the crossbar, and the puck goes over the glass.
The good scoring opportunity was created once again by the Swedish defense. They stand them right up at the blue line. They force them to try to make a play right there. The puck bounces free. They get a 2-on-1. Look at this great shot right there. He just kind of takes the puck and turns it over with the wrist. And I think he kind of fooled Burke, because it looked to me like he might be passing it, but he just snapped the wrist and he put it right off the crossbar. Good play by the Swedish defenseman initially, and then the good shot right there as he broke in on the line.
Sean Burke holding the fort, as they say, for Canada right now. 13:50 remaining here in the second period. We're tied at 1, and right now mainly because of Sean Burke.
Well, Burke is only 21 years old. He turned 21 January the 29th. He's already in his second year in the Olympic program.
Here comes Sweden once again. That shot fired wide. Sandstrom taken heavily into the boards. Kept in at the point by Moline, and Joyce finally gets it out for Canada. No icing on the play. Going backward is Peter Anderson. Coming up with the puck, Lars Moline ahead to Peter Anderson. Anderson just steps over center ice and fires it in as the Swedish defense change up. Yaremchuk gets it out. Waters, long lead pass for Malinowski. That would have been offside if Malinowski had touched the puck. Now Thomas Eriksson fakes the shot. Quick shot, and the glove save made by Burke.
Look at all 5 Swedes all inside the blue line for a brief moment right there, forcing the Canadians to come out and carry the puck out. They've got no one to pass to.
They're forced to speed by Yaremchuk. Shot, the save made by O'Neill.
Well, speed will do that for you. Yaremchuk, who has to try to come back and redeem himself after taking that slashing penalty. He just gets a puck. The Swedes actually pulled out of the blue line prematurely. Thomas Eriksson gets caught turning the wrong way, and he's not able to get back into the play. Yaremchuk, because he had to kind of try to pull the puck into himself, watch as he tries to pull the puck into himself. In doing so, he loses control right there, and O'Sleen comes out and makes a pretty good play right there. He sticks his entire body out and doesn't give him much room to make a shot on the net.
Well, we played almost 8 minutes of the second period, and that was the first good scoring opportunity for Canada.
Remember, we talked about the Swedish defense being big. They lack mobility, and that was a case where you saw that skating and mobility where they lack. They're very effective when they stand up and keep the puck in the zone, but once you get that little step on them, you can turn them around.
Osling comes under the net to play the puck. And here comes Sweden, led by Rundqvist. Cross-ice pass to Södergren. And to Rundqvist coming in, the shot, the save made by Sean Burke. Good passing play by Sweden. Here they come again, another shot, and that one just goes wide as Eriksson missed the far side. Mark Hapshine fires it in hard for Canada. Osling plays the puck around the board. And Eriksson fires it in, and this will be icing. But the Swedes touch it first. A hard shot high off the glass. Samuelsson moving in. Grabbed by Barry. And we're going to have a penalty, a slashing penalty coming up.
A sigh of relief from Guy Charan as he's looking for it. Here's a good play, a good pass right in here. This is a bad attempt by Rundqvist. He really has more of an opportunity to score a goal than that. Come in, be a little forceful, be a little intense as you try to score the goal, and he's going to get a second opportunity as it goes just wide. But that is the defenseman moving in, Joe. Did you see him come in all the way from the blue line? They really are flooding the zone quite well. But Rundqvist, he should, you know, had a better chance to put the puck upstairs, because all Sean Burke did, and he did it before he shot the puck, he went down and threw his body out, and he should have been able to see that he had the entire top of the net to shoot. Burke will get the 2-minute penalty for slashing to be served by Shervin. And the reason for that was number 4, Tom Eklund, went into the net, and Burke just tried to push him out of the way. In doing so, he gets a 2-minute slashing penalty. Watch right here. Watch 4 come into the net right there. He gets taken off the puck by Tim Felix, and in doing so, Sean Burke just kind of pushes him out of the way, saying, hey, man, I got to see the puck, and he gets a 2-minute penalty. So the last time that the Swedish team went on the power play, we looked for number 23 to get in front of the net. Let's see if the same thing happens. And while we have this opportunity, everybody seemed to enjoy the quiz last night. Let's come back and give them another one tonight. This time we want you to name the national team players with previous Olympic experience. Now there are 4 of them, and maybe I'll give a hint.
Well, how about bonus points for the years they represented Canada?
That's right. Okay. If you can get the years, bonus points.
Randy Gregg along the boards, trying to kick it loose to Hapshide. Swedes doing a very good job of pressuring Canada here in the second period. Sweden on the power play. They scored the goal to tie it up with the man advantage. Eklund with a blast from the point. Eklund to Anderson. Anderson shot. Stick save made by Burke, and again a good screen set up in front by Sweden. Now Burke comes out of the net and will cover up on the loose puck. And for the viewers that were with us last night, they saw Andy Moog do that a number of times, come out from the net and play the puck and hold on to it back at the goal line. Of course, in the National Hockey League, that's a penalty, but not in international hockey.
Well, it was a smart move by Burke because they were applying all kinds of pressure, and there was a chance for him to let Dave King change the line. We look at the Swedish coach, Tommy Sandlin. We talked to Ken Dryden yesterday, and he said that I watched the Swedish team play against the U.S. team. He says they were uninterested, they were very listless. That's not the case this evening.
Definitely not. 1:10 remaining in the slashing penalty to Sean Burke. There was almost a giveaway there by Sweden. Serge Boisvert doing a good job setting out this 2 minutes.
And number 19, Von Karpen, is out there only his second shift of the evening.
Von Karpen, number 19, a defensive specialist for this Olympic team. Big hit there by Stiles. There's a shot and a good save made by Sean Burke on Bo Berglund. But what a hit by Stiles.
The the great thing about this is Tony Stiles. Watch Von Karpen's stick get caught right in here. He hits, not only does he hit the Swedish guy, he knocks Karpen right out of the play. He breaks Karpen's stick in half as we look at the save right now. Once again, they come in, they get too many good scoring opportunities. Burke is equal to the task. He comes out, makes a little bit of the challenge, and grabs it with his gloved hand. Now the Swedes will now change their goaltenders. They'll go to Anders Bergman, 24-year-old, 6 foot, 176 pounds. He played in the Canada Cup in '84 and '87. I guess if we had to look at the number 2 goalie for Sweden, this would be the man, Anders Bergman, excuse me. Played on the World Championship team in '81, '82, '85, '86, '87. And if I backtrack on his age, that means he was 17 years old in '81 when he played on their World Championship team.
42 seconds remaining in the minor penalty to Sean Burke. Another chance at the point, and the save made by Burke on the shot from Kilsberg.
Well, that's the shot, Joe, that they want to give him. They want to give him that big shot from the blue line. That time, did you see Randy Gregg? They made sure that there was a clear path. They opened up the view for goaltender Sean Burke. There's no rebound. He grabs it and stops the play. Now, what the Swedish defenseman wants to do is shoot the puck low and make sure that he has some activity in the front so that you can either deflect it or get a rebound.
There you see the new Swedish goaltender, Anders Bergman, 24 years old. And as Dave said, he's played in 5 World Championships, including that gold medal victory by Sweden in 1987, that in Czechoslovakia.
What is Thomas Sandlin trying to tell Dave King? Hey, you're not seeing my best guy. Have a look at everybody else.
Shot from the point, and that was blocked by Gregg. And Gregg fires it down the ice. Malinowski in there first. Bo Berglund taken down back to the net by Hatshai. And Berglund now comes up with the puck. 8 seconds remaining in the penalty to Burke. Long lead pass for Erling. Erling tried to get it back to Berglund. Now Canada back at full strength. Samuelsson, long lead pass for Berglund. And he was checked by Zalapski. Zarley Zalapski gathering speed. Zalapski, and it's offside as Shervin was ahead of the play. You're watching National Team Hockey live from Saskatchewan Place.
A sandwich to life like the tangy zip of Miracle Whip. Absolutely nothing.
Just 2 of the happy fans here at Saskatchewan Place. Sweden won, Canada won, 9:33 left in this second period.
Not to mention that we were fairly happy today as it warmed up. There was a difference of 25 degrees in the temperature.
It was minus 33 on Wednesday here in Saskatoon. Serge Waugh losing the puck momentarily, but clears it out. Claude Vilgrain inside his own blue line, back to Tim Waters. Waters will take it back to the net as Canada is going to set up their offense. Waters will just fire it down the ice. And this will be icing as Samuelsson gets to it first, but he also pays the price as McLaren went in there pretty hard.
Well, we've seen more icing calls tonight than we did in the entire game last night, and I think large of it is due to the way the Swedes are playing. They're moving the puck and they're staying up, they're blocking them, they're picking up the wingers, they're making sure that they're not giving them an open man to pass the puck to.
This telecast is protected by copyright and is a co-production of STV Saskatoon, STV Regina, and CKND TV in Winnipeg, who along with Labatt's and Esso are proud to bring you tonight's game on the Can West Hockey Network. Rundqvist into the face-off circle for Sweden. Bradley will take the draw for Canada.
Joe, Peter Asselin left the game after facing only 9 shots, 7 in the first period. He only had 2 shots in the second period.
There was a glove save there by Sean Burke, but the puck would have been wide had he let it go. And Bergman with his first touch of the puck and decides that he's going to hold on for face-off. As you take a look at Brian Bradley, he belongs to the Calgary Flames and might be there after the Olympics.
Well, I would think he'd have a difficult time crashing that lineup. They loaned him at training camp. They sensed that they had a lot of strength in the middle and that Brad Bradley would probably end up playing in the minors, and they just opted to loan him to the Olympic program. Actually, the Flames have been tremendous to the Olympic program. They're going to give him Poplinski and Bradley, you know, and all the support that they get right in Calgary from the Flame fans.
Here comes Sweden once again. Serge Waugh doing a good job of checking the puck off Södergren's stick. Södergren comes up from the corner with the puck and only one glove.
You notice that time the Canadians aren't giving support. There's one man and they're not coming in there and they're not helping.
There's a shot that's directed to the corner by Burke. Peter Eriksson.
There's two Swedes in the corner, only one Canadian, so they're trying to outman them 2-1. Create that 2-on-1 situation, then go to the open space. Dave King's got to tell those guys, hey man, it's support. We've got to get and attack everybody.
Certainly that was the case last night. Lots of support.
Well, there's no question about it that that's the way that they're strongest
Canada
when they
and
play.
Sweden on the CanWest Hockey Network.
Put that stuff away before Zach gets into it.
Mom, you shouldn't buy him the things he likes.
Absolutely, the first rule of being a parent. Buy things your kids like. No fuss, no waste. Then be thankful that A, they're good for them, B, they don't cost an arm and a leg. You'll see.
I'm never getting married, and I'm never having kids.
Maple Leaf Value, the right taste at the right price. It's today's wise choice.
We're back here at Saskatchewan Place and the whole province toasting victory and the Canadian Olympic team. Nice how that sign kind of showed STV. A lot of thought went into that.
We're in STV land, aren't we?
.8:11 remaining here in the second period. Canada leading 1-0 after one on a goal by Gord Shervin. And then Elderbrink with a power play goal here early in the second has tied the score. Felix ahead to Gord Shervin. Shervin in over the blue line. Nice burst of speed. And the loose puck there. And finally it's seen by number 4, Tom Eklund. Eklund back of his own goal. Long lead pass. Anderson. Drop pass by Eklund. Loose puck in front, and Burke makes the save, and the net has come loose.
Boy, I like the way that the Swedes are playing. They were very aggressive in their own end. They were attacking the players. They got out of the zone very quickly, and now they come in and they're getting a little more fancy. You know, Tom Eklund has played very, very well. He is one of the more aggressive forwards that they have. He's constantly going to the net. If I look at the pick of the Swedish Blue Liners, Thomas Eriksson has played very, very well.
And I think we may have a problem with the net. They don't use magnetic post here. I thought they did last night. It's more like a plastic kind of spike. And let's go, while we have this moment, let's tell the people at home the answer to the Richardson quiz. Of course, the quiz was name the national team players with previous Olympic experience, and you get bonus points if you can name the years that they represented Canada.
There we look at Tim Waters in '80, Ken Berry, Randy Gregg in 1980, and Von Karpen in 1984. Gord Shervin would have been there in '84, but he was injured. Now, let me put this to you. In 1980, Ken Berry was 19, Tim Waters was 20. The oldest player was Randy Gregg at 24 years old. And I think right now they have only 2 or 3 guys that are under 24 years of age. So this is an experienced team that is moving in to the Olympics this year.
And there you see Von Karpen, who represented Canada in 1984, and Tim Waters, who represented Canada in 1980 and will represent Canada again in 1988. And he told me the other day that he thinks he'll be a better player when he returns to the Winnipeg Jets.
There's no question about it. I mean, when you come on into a program like this that's very intense and has got a cause that they want to get into, I mean, it's got to rub off on you, and he's going to take that back. If you remember 1980, when all the U.S. players went into the program, Kenny Morrow joined the Islanders. He added a lot of help for them, and, you know, they went on to win the Stanley Cup. The same thing could happen right here.
And as you take a look at another of our previous Olympic members, Randy Gregg, we can tell you it's Canada 1, Sweden 1. This is national team hockey from Saskatoon.
I'm Al Eisen. I invented an automatic toilet bowl cleaner called 2000 Flushes because cleaning the toilet is a lousy job. Nobody likes it. So I made 2000 Flushes so you wouldn't have to do it. Here's how it works. We use chlorine bleach. That's the chemical that's used in swimming pools to help keep the water sparkling and the sides clean. It works the same in your toilet bowl. It really does. And it keeps it clean, not just for 1 month, but up to 4 months. So get my 2000 Flushes. Why buy anything else?
We're back here at Saskatchewan Place, and as you can see, they have not yet made the repairs to the Canadian goal. And see some of the fans, creative fans here.
And you saw over there Anders Bergman talking to the coach from the Swedish team. But how about this for statistics? Sweden is currently out shooting Canada 12-2 so far in this period. So that tells you the kind of aggressive play that they're getting out of the Swedish forwards and their defensemen. They're playing as a unit of 5, and they're moving up the ice, and they really are shutting down defensively the Canadian wide wingers. They're not able to get that extra step. Last night they were getting that puck, and they were using possession, and they were going wide into the corner, stopping and looking for someone. They haven't been given that opportunity tonight.
Canada will begin its Olympic play on Sunday, and let's go through Canada's Olympic schedule. They'll play Poland on Sunday, then on Tuesday they'll take on Switzerland. It's Finland on Thursday, France on Saturday, and then on February 22nd they end the A pool with the game against Sweden. You can see the time remaining, 7:33 here in the second period, as they continue to make repairs at that Canadian goal.
Now, we talked about Dave King and why he was unhappy with the fact that it's not so much who they play in the first round, it's when they play them. They play them in the afternoon, and they're not happy with that situation. They're not allowed to have a pregame skate. They're not allowed to have a video session after they come in from the pregame skate, and that kind of upsets them. Meanwhile, if you go to the Americans, they finished 7th last year in the championships, and they should have met the top teams in the first round. Instead, they're meeting Russia last. They're playing all their games at 7:15 in the evening, and they really are not going to change their routine. Meanwhile, Canada, who are playing in their home building, have got to change all of their routine.
Well, as Dave King says, it's ABC's games. Let's go down to Ron Rimmer with some music.
Speaking of the best seat in the house, this vantage point isn't too bad either. This is where the organist sits, or in this case, these games are so important, they have 2 of them. We have Denise here, and I guess, Denise, though, you don't get much of a chance to watch the game.
No, not really, because I'm busy deciding which songs to play and how to get the fans pumped up.
Pam, is it tough getting the fans of Saskatoon pumped up?
Well, they're getting a lot better.
All right, girls, thanks very much. Now back to Joe.
Well, let's give them a chance, all right?
Yeah, it's only the 3rd game in this building.
And smile. Yes, he took a picture. It was of our cameraman. We do have some Swedish fans in the crowd tonight.
Well, all the teams are on the ice now, keeping limbered up, keeping warm, and trying to get back in his hockey game. You remember at the start of the show, we talked to the maintenance operator at the building. They said that they would not have any problem. I guess they did not think about the fact that the moorings would come off its setting right in there. They don't have magnetic settings. They have them solidified right to the ice, to the cement, and it's not holding very well.
All right, let's take another break from Saskatchewan Place. You're watching National Team Hockey on the Can West Hockey Network.
In all the frozen and faraway places, at all the lonely hours, day or night, there's a Tony Thompson, striving to push a black puck on white ice toward the goal. Esso retailers are involved in hockey from beginners to Olympians, for all the Tonys and Michaels and Lindas. Because service to the community doesn't stop at the gas pump.
Sweden and Canada tied at 1, and we are in a goal post delay here at Saskatchewan Place.
They give us a good opportunity to talk about the Swedish team as they move into the Calgary Olympics. Right now, we talked to Coach Tommy Sandlin this morning, asked him about his team. He says, I have a team that may be a little slow, but they're very, very clever. and they play with a lot of discipline, and they think defensively. Also, if you look at that team, they got 13 players on it from the World Champion team, 14 players on it from their Canada Cup team. So when you look at experience, it's solidified right in there. They don't have the scoring that they would like to have that they had in '87 when they had players like Hook and Lube and Gustafson that plays for Washington, but they still have a strong team, and they have that big ace in the hole as far as they're concerned, and that's Peter Lindmark in the goal.
In Olympic competition, Sweden's best Olympic finish way back in 1928 at St. Moritz as they won the silver medal, and they've been bronze medalists in 52, 64, 1980, and 84. Against Canada, Sweden's record, just 1 win and 11 losses. That victory coming back in 1984 when Sweden defeated Canada 2-0 in the bronze medal game.
When we look at the team, and we talked about their age, they're 26.5 years of age. They have 12 players that are over 27 years of age. So that's where the experience. They've got some great size. They have 12 guys that are 6 foot or better, and they've got an average weight of 185 pounds. Now, we've talked about Canada possibly meeting the Soviets in the medal round, but I don't think that we can rule out the possibility that this team will be right there. Key, Schonberg, Pelle Lindmark, whether or not Belashenkin can play very well, Malenknikov can play very well, then they would see how well they can do.
Well, as you can see, still a delay here at Saskatchewan Place as the repairs continuing to be made to that goal post that has been knocked loose. Dave, I think in this game so far, you have to be really impressed with the way Sweden is taking the contest to Canada.
Well, I guess maybe so much was made about Canada's Izvestia win to them. Sweden played very well. They only lost 3 to them in the Izvestia championship, and a lot was made of how well Burke played. They had the best defenseman in the tournament. According to Sandelin, things could change. All you need is a bounce here, a puck going in the net at this particular time. You know, and when you look at Dave King and Tom Watt and Guy Charon, you talked to them about Izvestia. He said, we had a lot of things going right for us. It could have gone to either team. He said, hey, we're not looking at getting past the first round. We have to play Finland. They've come up with some very big performances against us, and of course this team right here.
All right, we understand that the problem at that Canadian goal is that the mooring has come loose, and they can't dig it out of the ice to put in a new one.
Have the goaltender stand behind there. I mean the goaltender stand there and hold it into place.
I wonder if the delay takes any longer, if they might go to an intermission and add on the 7:33 that remains here in the second period to the third.
Well, I don't think Dave King would mind that because they're being outshot 12-2. They've had a lot of the play taken away from them. They've taken a couple of penalties, perhaps, that they shouldn't have taken, and that's the discipline that we talk about. They're not supporting each other like they did last night. When we talk about support, and I may be overusing the system so much, but that's what King and the coaching staff talk about. If one man is going in there, follow him up, help him out, get into the play with him, and they're not doing that tonight. Now, I could imagine there being a little bit of a letdown after last night. There was the opening of this building. There was a lot of crowd cheering, and King said after the post-game things, you know, the difference in a 2-2 game sometimes can be the crowd. They can pipe you up and get you in it a little bit more.
You know, Dave, there was so much conversation this morning at practice about how international hockey has become more defensive-oriented, and we expected that to be the case tonight, but Sweden is taking the game to Canada, and there has been no real defensive play on the part of Sweden in this one. They are going on the attack.
Well, there's no question about it when they do it. But here's the pressure that we were talking about. And you can see the Canadian defensemen, all they're doing, they're constantly turning around and chasing the puck into the corners. And the Swedes are very confident. They're moving right up here. You see Samuelsson. That's the defenseman once again, right into the play, following up the play. We talked about number 4, Eklund, charging and attacking the goaltender. He was able to cause the penalty by going in front of Sean Burke and causing him to take a cross-checking penalty.
There you see Canadian Olympic coach Dave King, his 5th season with the national team. He kind of burst onto the national scene when 1982, when Canada won the World Junior Championship, their first World Junior Championship that was played in Minnesota.
Well, yeah, you talked about King internationally in '82, but prior to that, he coached at the University of Saskatchewan. He coached Saskatoon Junior Bees. He coached the Blades right here. In '79, I believe he was in Billings, and he coached, that's where Andy Moog was playing in Billings. He coached him in, so he's a career coach after obtaining a Bachelor of Education degree from the university. By the way, he was given an honor at the University of Saskatchewan this afternoon, along with Father David Bauer. And I guess when you look at people like that and you say, where does a Dave King go beyond this situation? Does he stay with this program and develop for 1988, or does he go into the National Hockey League? I think there's one thing that you have to be concerned with a Dave King. He is at his best when he's developing players for a long-term program. In a National Hockey League, you're talking short-term. We have to win today. You can look at Doug Carpenter and some of the guys that have been around, and if you don't win right away, you don't stay around.
All right, let's go downstairs to Rick Borgon.
Coming up in our second intermission tonight, we'll be speaking with Herb Pinder, also a feature on Mark Habscheid of the Canadian Olympic team, of course, and also the second period highlights. That's all coming up in our second intermission.
33 seconds on the third period, so they'll take their intermission now.
Well, they have decided to take an intermission right now. So they'll attack the 7:33 on to the third period. Canada won, Sweden won. You're with the Can West Hockey Network.
The move is on to the 15th Olympic Winter Games, and Shell wants you to get into the spirit. As an official sponsor, Shell is proud to offer you our exclusive Olympic pin collection, a quality Olympic toque, and the Shell Olympic Winter Games television fact book. They're all exceptional values. Get yours while supplies last and really get into the games. Shell!
We'll never use their grapple grommets again. Cheesley! Cheesley!
Chief?
Carruthers, did you call our customer to follow up that grommet shipment?
Uncanny, Chief. I called a half hour ago. Had a small problem with the fit. Straightened it out.
That's the way to use long distance. Solve
the small problem before it becomes a nightmare.
Glad to see you weren't caught napping.
Follow up sales with Business Long Distance.
I wish I could get colds like everyone else. Me, I get sinus colds. The congestion and pressure really hurts. And would you believe it? I forgot my Dristan tablets.
Dristan works through the bloodstream to shrink swollen sinus membranes and drains all 8 sinus cavities to help relieve the symptoms of your sinus cold.
Now I can breathe easier, and the hurting stopped.
Dristan drains all 8 sinus cavities.
Well, they're having ice problems here at Saskatchewan Place, but hopefully they can solve those problems. We'll get back to work shortly. What they're going to do is tack on the remaining 7 minutes and 33 seconds onto the third period because of the problems they are having with the ice and with the net right now. Ron Rimmer brings us up to date on that situation.
All right, we're here with Harv Young, the arena manager. And Harv, what seems to be the problem? I noticed you got plastic pins here.
Yes, and due to running with thinner ice than we were having a problem with them breaking off because of the threading of the pin.
Why was the decision made to stay away from the magnets and use the pins?
Well, we find that they work very well, and the hockey players really like them, especially the tall hockey players that could come down on top of a net, and the magnets sometimes wouldn't give way, and these worked very well.
Eventually you're going to go to the magnets?
We're going to try them, yes.
Okay, all right, let's go back to the studio now.
Guesting with me in the studio right now is Herb Pinder, and Herb, a longtime national team member when this program first got going in the 60s. You played on the national team in 68. I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes, and probably for the good.
Well, we've seen a lot of change over the last 20 years, Rick, and all of it has been for the good. 20 years ago, Canadian hockey was a little on the smug side. From the National Hockey League through the media to really Canadian people thought we were superior. And it was a big shock to the population in that first big summit series. Since then, we've seen a tremendous amount of change. We see our athletes much better conditioned. We see much better coaching, and now 2, 3 coaches on a hockey team instead of just one. We see videos, we see advanced scouting. We're searching for excellence now in hockey in North America, and we're finding it with the tremendous success of Canadian teams from Team Canada through to the juniors this year. It's shown what a change in attitude has meant to hockey in Canada.
Your involvement with hockey in general now, I know you have a couple irons in the fire. What exactly are you doing right now?
Well, I have the good fortune of working for 20 fine young men and representing them, and 3 of them are on this hockey club. Andy Moog, Bobby Joyce, and Gordie Shervin.
And Andy Moog, there was some rumor, of course, he may end up in Pittsburgh following the Olympics. Do you know anything about that?
I've had some chats with Eddie Johnson, who would really like to have Andy. They need goaltending there, and being a former goaltender himself, he knows a good one when he sees one. But it's up to Glenn Sather. He has to make a trade Andy somewhere. There's been some talk, but I only know what I'm told, and right now that isn't very much. And in fact, right now Andy's mindset is to do his best to help the Olympic team win a medal, and right now that's the focus. We're not too worried about what comes after.
The future for Bobby Joyce and Gord Shervin, you see any NHL future there?
Absolutely. Sherv is under contract with the Hartford Whalers, and I talked to Emil Francis last week. He'll be going directly to Hartford, and if he plays like he's been playing the last 2 nights, he'll help that team. They need the help right now. Bobby, I had a chat actually with Harry Sinden today. We're very close to consummating negotiations, and I would expect that he'll be in Boston shortly after. He'll be a big asset. The big body going up and down the wall in Boston Gardens is going to fit right into the Bruins.
Herb, you've been around Saskatoon a lot. You see the old barn now going by the wayside, and we move into this big building here. Makes you proud, I would think, to see a building like this go up now.
Well, anytime you can have a whole city happy and excited at this time of year with the weather that we've had the past few days, you're doing something right, and it speaks well for a city. It's the fastest growing city in Canada. It's always been a great sports town, and now we have a facility that's going to let the people enjoy it and support.
Herb, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Okay, our hockey telecast will continue in just a moment.
Well, how's city living?
Dad, just fine.
As usual, your mother worries about what you're eating.
Tonight, tell her I'm having a wonderful spaghetti dinner.
No 300-calorie meal beats Schneider's new lifestyle entrees for real homemade taste. Because at Schneider's, if we can't make it better, we just won't make it. New lifestyle entrees from Schneider's.
Didn't I tell you she'd be doing great?
After you, sir.
Kellogg's Honey Nut Corn Flakes. Delicious golden crunchy flakes of corn. Sprinkled with nuts and lightly coated with honey, which makes them quite the most irresistible breakfast cereal imaginable. Kellogg's Honey Nut Corn Flakes. The trouble is, they taste too good.
Angela Halikas, teacher, condition, headache.
It feels like pressure pushing.
Why haven't you tried Tylenol?
I don't think Tylenol would relieve this headache. What's so different about Tylenol?
Clinical studies prove Tylenol has the strength to deliver really effective relief, yet it won't upset your stomach. How do you feel?
I really think it worked. And I know what I'm going to do the next time I have a headache. I'm going to take Tylenol, that's for sure. Tylenol works.
Bit of a shaky second period of play for the Canadians as they were outshot by the Swedes by a 12-2 margin in that second frame. Well, Team Canada has a lot of good hockey players, the Olympic team that is, and one special one as well. His name, Mark Habscheid.
For Mark Habscheid, playing for the Canadian Olympic team is like coming home. After failed NHL attempts with both Edmonton and Minnesota, Habscheid's back on a team where he's needed and wanted.
Well, it's a nice change for myself. You get kind of in a rut, being bounced around for a while, up and down and all over the place, so this is a good change for me.
It was Mark Habscheid's goal against Czechoslovakia that won Canada their first World Junior Championship in 1982. It was Hapschide's last hockey success. It was also the beginning of his association with Olympic coach Dave King.
He knows basically what kind of person and player I am, and I know what kind of person and coach he is, so it's makes, you know, things a little bit easier knowing where he's at and where I'm at, and you know, we were successful in '82, and that's something that you know, both him and I'll always remember, and we've sometimes have a lot of fun talking about it, and he's a good coach, and you can learn a lot of things from him.
And Mark Hapscheid is our top scorer, and so he's a guy who offensively means an awful lot to our power play and to our ability to score, and we're not a team that offensively gets things going on a consistent basis, so Happy's an important guy.
Everyone's role in this team is to kind of go both ways, both defense and offense, and that's one of the things that I had to work on when I first came here, was the defensive part of my game. And Dave doesn't like players who just go on the offense or anything like that. You have to play in both ends of the rink, and that's good for me.
After the Olympics, Mark Hapschide's not sure if he'll take one more shot at making it in the National Hockey League.
I don't know. I'm not really looking at that right now. I'm just trying to concentrate on one thing, and that's February of '88. And hopefully if things take care of itself in February, you know, then options will open up. And I'm not really sure what I want to do, whether it's Europe or take another kick at the Cat or what. But I'll look at that after the Olympics.
And within days, Mark Hapscheid and the rest of the Olympic team will be in Calgary, and they're thinking gold.
A break here or there and start playing at the top of our game, you know, anything can happen, and we have a lot of confidence. We're not going into Calgary thinking that we just want to finish 4th or 5th or maybe luck out and get a medal. We're going in there, we want to win it, and we have quiet confidence. We believe in ourselves, and you know, everyone needs a break here or there, but anything can happen.
Pretty good series here so far for Mark Hapscheid. He picked up 1 assist in last night.